Okay, so this is how I made $159,443 in 90 days without ads. As you can see, the subscriber lifetime value of my business, you can see it all here. I collected over 1,000 USD in 90 days without ads. Not a single dollar was spent on paid traffic for this process, okay? And before you assume I've got some massive audience doing the heavy lifting for me, I don't. I've got under 3,000 followers online across all platforms, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, etc. That's it. Here's a few more screenshots. You can see total money coming in, 63K there, and 42K here. It's well over 100K. A few 11K, 12K screenshots here, another 10K PIF up front. So what I'm going to walk you through today in this video, I'm going to lift the veil on the entire process and actually show you how this happened. And I'm showing the exact system I use to pull all of this stuff off. So if you've been told you need to burn cash on ads or spend 2 years building an audience before you start making real money with your business, stick around because I'm going to show you exactly why that's complete bullshit. But before I get into it, I wanted to share a few results from my students that I'm extremely proud of. As you can see here, the screenshot is me sending a doc to a prospect via WhatsApp and collecting $8,000 from a strategy map, aka Google Doc. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll see me walking you through that stuff. This is all done via WhatsApp. So top of funnel could have been X, for example, and we would have naturally just said, hey, just send me a WhatsApp. We'll maybe have a quick call, like 5 minutes, just walk them through the process, or voice notes, etc. But this is pretty much the process every time. Another screenshot here of my student Johnny signing a 5K month client. He's charging 5K a month or 15K per quarter, so it's a big ticket for him. And this is my student Casper adding $40,000 in monthly recurring revenue for his agency. And here's my student Jose signing a 3K month retainer client and hitting 10K monthly recurring revenue for the first time. He's got another couple deals in the pipeline, but he's actually got 10K a month of actual recurring revenue now. And before we get into the systems and strategies, I help people do this stuff all the time. You can check out the testimonials in the description. And if you want to start actually closing 6K plus deals without ads or sales calls, click the link below, book a call with me personally, and I'll show you how we do this. So let's talk about where the leads actually come from. So the first question I usually get asked is something like, if you didn't run ads and you don't have an audience, where do all these people come from? And it's really simple, actually. I didn't build an audience, I borrowed one, okay? So here's a few more screenshots of me closing them in WhatsApp. Like I mentioned earlier, we get them from X or any other platform, and we bring them into WhatsApp or simply on the same platform in the DMs. And as you can see here, there's all these payments going through, paid, payment done, etc. These are all 6K to 10K deals up front, paid in the DMs. And this was actually done during the quietest time of the year, like out of office season. Everyone's out and about, like enjoying their summer, but these all deals were closed in July. So effectively what I do is I find audience types that are very similar to myself or sell to people that I would consider selling to. This is just a prime example. Anyone that follows you, if you have any kind of amount of following, it doesn't need to be like 10,000, 20,000, whatever plus followers. Even if you have 100 followers, 500 followers, I was still making money with this, right? So for example, this follower here or this account here, they're in more the tech AI space. They actually work with NVIDIA. And these are great because there's going to be a lot of B2B founders that follow him or follow this account. And effectively what we'll do is we'll go and find the warmest prospects that would considerably be a fit for our service and just simply DM them. We're going to get into the script in a minute as well. But these are just examples of accounts. They don't need to be crazy amount of followers. Andre here, who sells cold email, for example, is also a prime example of a good account to siphon from or borrow an audience from, simply because he sells to agencies, consultants, etc., that want to scale their businesses with cold email. Naturally, it could be a good fit for me because a lot of people don't want to do sales calls. They just want to close in the DMs or close with voice notes or whatever the case may be. And Clifton as well. So just have a little look at people in your space or network on any platform. It could be X, LinkedIn, whatever. And just find map out 2 or 3 small to medium, big sized accounts that you could effectively borrow audiences from and just simply start selling to their followers. So now we're just going to talk about the exact DM script I use with real conversations. And I'm going to actually show you in the software that I use to do this. And here's the part I know you actually want to see, right? So the messages, because talk is cheap. So let me show you the exact actual conversations that turn into cash. And over the last 2 weeks, we've actually collected $57,000 just by doing this throughout July. Okay, so let's just look at the close section. As you can see here, 56,250 it's been closed. Actually moved one of them over to here, but you get the idea. So we're going to go through one of these conversations and I'll just show you simply the way it goes. And you're probably going to laugh because the process is actually very simple. I'm not trying to hard pitch them or hard sell them in the DMs. I'm just going to simply just find people that would be a good fit for my service through a audience that is already warm and then just simply pitch them my stuff. So, hey Ryan, are you doing any outbound right now or purely inbound? Just launching something new, figured I'd share it with you first. That's how I'm adding 10K to 20K more every week to my business by effortlessly siphoning clients from competitor audiences. Do you want the details? And he's talking about mainly outbound, for example, which is fine. Effectively, what I'm doing here is just small pitch, just a quick question really. Are you doing any outbound right now or is it purely inbound? I'm launching something, figured I'd share it with you first. It's how I'm adding amount of revenue every week to my business with mechanism. Okay, that's simply the play. And then the CTA is want details. So first of all, I don't really go straight into what I do or how I do it. I just say, talk to me about your outbound. What's your MRR? He's going to obviously tell me bits and pieces as well about that. But as you can see, like I'm giving him 2 messages here. He's giving me a whole lot more information. So for me, that signals high intent. And I said, very creative. Didn't catch your MRR. So he didn't tell me exactly what his MRR was in this case, but I'm going to ask for it again just to make sure it's a fit. Because if it's under like 10K, 20K, they're a little bit tougher to scale. They're a lot more risk averse. But if they're above 25K, it's usually a good fit. I believe he's actually 10K profit, but it wasn't terrible at the time for me to pitch him the smaller thing and then naturally send him to a bigger package. He's done a few 20K months, etc. Just showed him my calendar and what kind of calls I'm getting for my other agency, which is more like a done for you thing. And then I just simply sent him details on the process, a couple of voice notes back and forth. And then he didn't get back to me for a while. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit him with this message. I'm raising prices to 6K. Did you want to lock in a current rate at 250 a week or should I close your file? Again, he said, not quite sure what you do. Remind me. I was like, well, look, for my agency, I did this, but I can consult you on a smaller package for now to help you build out the systems and get that in place. And then I just said to him, look, the done with you thing is one-to-one consulting. You'll be doing the building with my direction. The done for you is 800 a week. We won't be closing for businesses doing less than 100K a month. He was asking for a closer in this case, but I was like, look, yeah, man, let's go. Sent him the document for done for you, but he wanted the 250 a week version. He asked a few more questions, and then he paid. Okay. So that's just one example of how that works. Kevin as well, this is like a really simple one. It's Kai, what are you working on this week? What's up? Saw your post about trade shows, for example. He hates attending trade shows. So he's obviously got a done for you agency as well. He's been stuck at 65K MRR, need to get to 100 plus. And I don't simply go, yeah, man, of course, like we can help you straight away. I'm more along the lines of, why do you want 100K? Nothing special happens there. It's only an extra 40K. And he said, life is expensive. Around 100K sets us up because he's splitting his profit with his brother. Forgot to mention what I do. At this point in time when I pitched him, I was running a sales team of 6, doing the exact same number of volume per day and booking like 10 to 12 calls a day for my agency. He did say he didn't want a lot of calls. He'd prefer to close in the DMs, which is fine. Asked him about sales team, what he has in place. He charges 10K for the larger deals, which is fine. He didn't want to get on the phone with 200 month customers. They can sign up online. And then I actually pitched him, just have a call. Have you got WhatsApp, for example? And then I just quickly gave him a quick call on WhatsApp. So basically the whole process is it doesn't really matter whether you close them in the DMs or just ask for their WhatsApp real quick and just walk them through the process of 5 minutes. It proves trust, it proves competency, it proves you're a real human and you know what you're doing. Quick call is usually all it takes. I know I say you can close without sales calls, but at the end of the day, if you're pitching to a 65K plus month agency, 100K a month business, they do appreciate more of a trust. Anyone under 100K a month or actually anyone under like 50K a month can usually be closing the DMs. Anyone slightly above that, they'll just, literally just pick up the phone and like give them a quick call on WhatsApp and then just walk them through the process, send them a doc, the strategy map, and then they'll close. Pretty straightforward. Another one here. I think this was a follow-up. I'm taking on 5 people to help them add X amount of revenue fast. I made it super simple to kick things off. You can cancel anytime, whatever. One of my clients did this. Do you want details? Yes, please share details. Details here. And then I sent him a follow-up, like closing your files. I didn't hear back. He took a little while to get back to me, like 3-4 days later. Let's have a call and discuss. I was like, hey, look, here's the calendar. In this case, I'm probably going to take the call just because I want to sign the client. Don't ghost or no show. Saw you book, see you Monday, and he's now a happy paying customer. That's just to give you like a really good example of what we're closing and what we're signing in the DMs. We've got another one here. Just paid. Like it's a similar type of process. Offer on the front end, low friction offer on the front end. Obviously, this is a lot of back and forth. I'm not going to go into too crazy specifics, but the bottom line is he paid. But yeah, that's just to give you an idea of how we're pitching and how we're selling. We're not really hard selling. We're just like, where are you at? Where do you want to be? What's stopping you? Why do you want to actually do this thing? Not, hey, this will actually really help you. You should buy from me, etc. It's just very casual, very straightforward, and just like, if you don't want this, absolutely fine. Just let me know and I'll move on. But just to give you an idea of how that particular process works. So I actually end up DQing a lot more people than I qualify, just because there's so many like tire kickers and time wasters and stuff. That is part of the game. Obviously, you're going to face that. Not everyone is going to buy from them in the first instance, but just to give you an idea of like actually how the process works and how we're selling this in the DMs, right? So I'm going to give you an insight now into how the deals actually close. So this is talking more about the strategy map and low friction offer specifically. So they reply, they're interested, and here's where most people would panic and like try to book a call. I don't. This is how I close these without ever getting on Zoom. So I'm going to just walk you through that process real quick. So this is strategy map selling. Okay. So this is a two-step system to close high ticket deals with or without traditional sales calls. The core framework is quite simple. So traditional sales is like unclear expectations, multiple calls, endless back and forth. Maybe you've been on like 2 or 3, 4, 5 calls and it still hasn't closed. Implementation feels slow and outdated, and you're seen as a salesman. With strategy map selling, it completely flips it. So prospects see clear deliverables up front and the pricing. There's 2 steps to it. So if you are doing sales calls with this and you're selling like higher ticket to B2B, like companies doing a couple mil, then you most likely will need a triage call in the beginning, like a short call, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, just to determine a fit. And then you can naturally just send them to the onboarding and then go from there. But if you're closing to people that are doing less than a mil, then you can simply just close them in the DMs. Implementation here feels immediate, and you position yourself as a problem solver rather than just someone trying to take the money. In this particular video, I'm not going to talk too much about the triage call because that's pretty straightforward, but you can implement these questions in the DMs, right? So you can turn the triage into a DM process as well. So stuff like, where do you want to be in the next 6 to 12 months? What are you currently doing to get there? What's stopping you? How long has this been happening? Are you profitable, etc.? And all these things, the purpose of these things are to get you to a point where you're mapping their true goal. You're going to show them what doesn't work. You're going to reveal true obstacles to their business, shows buying readiness, and confirms capability to actually pay you and work with you and go forward. And then when you're making your strategy map, you're going to be listening for the exact language they use, because in a particular industry, for example, consulting and agencies, they may use different language than like B2B tech, AI, for example, okay? And then you'll start mirroring this language inside your strategy map. Once we've done the triage, whether that's in the DMs or actually on a call, either way, it doesn't matter. The strategy map turns their pain points into a clear solution path, okay? So the components of that is, you're just going to write simply at the top your company name or mechanism, okay? This establishes authority and ownership of the solution. It appears first because it frames everything that follows as your proven system, not just generic advice. You're going to set up the ramp up time as well. So this is going to help you set clear expectations, create urgency, show confidence in your process, and demonstrate a systematic approach, okay? So your mechanism is how you're getting X amount of results. They don't have a particular mechanism in place for the business. You install the mechanism, they profit, sign clients. That's how simple it is. And deliverables, so this is like a step-by-step thing. You're going to focus on what they get, not what they do. Connect directly to their stated pain points. You're going to show clear progression toward the promised outcome. For example, in my case, it's sign 1 to 3 clients a day for your done for you or done with you offers without sales calls or a large audience, okay? And then you're going to include measurable checkpoints in that too. So step 1 is like quick win, weeks 1 to 2. Step 2, system building, weeks 2 to 6. Step 3, optimization, and then scale, weeks 8 to 12. Once you've got a baseline amount of results, then you can start scaling that success. So predicted results, for example, could be specific or close enough numbers to the triage call or the DM triage that you did. Tangible outcomes are explained simply, okay? Don't use any like high-tech jargon. Just write it as if you were speaking to like a 7-year-old. Achievable within the standard time frame. So for example, sign 1 to 3 clients a day with or without sales calls within the first like 2 to 3 weeks of implementing this system. Make sure it's always tied to their goals as well. Make it specific. Success stories. So you want to be putting success stories of similar business types that you've helped, that you're showing to. If I show a agency, a B2B like data center company who I got results for, they're not really going to be too keen on seeing that because it doesn't really relate to their current situation. But if I show them another agency I've scaled, like for example, I showed you one of the guys there, one of the students added 42K MRR in 6 weeks, for example, they're going to be able to connect and relate to that case study a lot more than they would another case study from someone else, right? Comparable starting points, clear before and after transformations, and timeline of achievement, and the investment. So I like to do a weekly payment option. I like my revenue weekly. You can do monthly. You can even do quarterly. I've seen success even with annual packages as well, which is really, really good actually for signing like higher B2B clients doing a couple mil plus. They love an annual product or annual service. And you can also just layer those type of offers into your model. Once you've started signing people on this, you can also naturally send them to a higher ticket thing. So for example, if you close a client at $250 a week, that could just be consulting them, done with you, whatever the case is. You can then ascend them and say, hey, do you want me to actually help you build this out and then run it for you or hand it over, whatever the case is? That can easily become like a 10 or 15K thing. But because you've proven competence with a $250 a week thing, maybe they've seen results after the first month, you can tell them, hey, you can use the profit that you've made, or you can pay what you've paid towards this thing so far to then help them pay the rest of the program or like another program that you've come up with. So you can also do a full payment option as well with incentives, clear terms and next steps to begin. And you can also create natural urgency through capped client spot. So for example, you can only take on 20 clients this month or 20 clients over the next 2 months. Once those spots are full, then obviously we'll increase the price. You can have regular price increases and then monthly enrollment periods as well. So you can sell that in the DMs, you can sell that through newsletter, you can sell that on X, LinkedIn, whatever platform you prefer. And then this is more about the onboarding stuff, which we're not going to get to in this video. But the strategy map selling process actually works because it focuses on solving problems rather than selling solutions. Your strategy map is just simply the bridge between their pain and your solution without having to get on a sales call. So the strategy map actually works as a sales letter, right? Just to put it simply. So that's it. Like, in a nutshell, that's pretty much the process. That's genuinely how I made $159,000 in 90 days with zero ad spend and with less than 3K followers across all platforms. So all I did, just to recap, I used borrowed attention, a document that sells and offers people actually want to say yes to. And if you want my personal help building all this stuff out, building all these exact systems in your own business, packaging your offer, building your strategy map, and turning your service into something people say yes to fast, I really only let a few people in a month on this. But if this sounds like something you need, just click the link below this video and I'll see you inside. Cheers.